everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name's Alexa Ray. And for today's video, you guys already know by the title, we are doing a March wrap-up. We're gonna be talking about all the books I read in the month of March, and guys, I'm so proud of myself and I'm so excited to share these books with you. I actually wound up reading so many more books than I originally planned to read in the month of March. If you guys haven't seen my March TBR video yet, go watch this because I talk about all the books I wanted to read in March, and then come back and watch this one because you're gonna be so proud. I think in my March TBR, I originally planned on reading like 4 or 5 books this month. In the month of March, we actually wound up reading 10 whole books. I don't think I've ever done that before. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a March wrap-up. We're gonna be talking about all the books I read in the month of March, what I liked, what I disliked, if I recommend these books, and all that fun stuff. With all that being said, we're gonna jump right into this video because I have so many amazing books to talk about. This is the pile of books that I read in the month of March. I have them in order from the first book I read in the beginning of the month all the way down to the last book I read. We're gonna go through each book, talk about them, talk about what I liked, talk about the tropes, talk about what I disliked, the characters, the story, all that good juicy stuff. Also, really quick before we jump into all these amazing books, I just want to mention that every book that I am mentioning in this video, I have probably done a reading vlog on. If you guys want more insight or details into certain books, definitely go look at my previous videos. I promise I've done a reading vlog for all these books this month, but we're gonna hop right in with the first book I read this month, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book took me a few days to get through, and this was also our very first reading vlog on my channel. So exciting. This is also a book rec from you guys, so thank you so much for that. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. You guys have probably seen it on Book Talk. It is very popular. Everyone's reading it. Everyone's obsessed with it. I can confirm that the hype is real. This book is nothing short of beautiful and amazing. There's a forbidden love trope in this book, and of course, obviously, it follows the story of Evelyn Hugo and her 7 husbands along her journey in life. Evelyn Hugo is an up-and-coming Hollywood star in, I believe, the 50s. Basically, we go through each time period with her. We go through every husband she marries. We basically watch her turn into this huge Hollywood star that everyone's obsessed with, everyone wants to be, everyone loves. We go through her 7 husbands and see how they affect her, how they help her grow her career. There's also a huge mystery throughout the entire story. For some context, Monique Grant is a writer, and Evelyn wants Monique to write her biography. Throughout the entire story, Monique keeps asking, like, why me? Why do you want me to write your story? So there's a huge scandalous mystery in the middle of this entire book. This is actually one of my 5-star reads, and one more thing I really loved about this is that it made me feel like I was in time with Evelyn Hugo. I felt like I was going through the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Like, I felt like I was living through her in this book, and I really loved that. I felt like I was going through classic Hollywood. I was going to the award shows. It's a book you can get lost in. It's a page turner, and it's definitely one of my favorite books I've ever read. The next book I read in the month of March is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I did do a reading vlog on this book, so you guys can go check it out if you want more details, if you want to see my real-time reactions. If you've been around for a hot minute, you know she is the queen over on my channel. I love her. She's my favorite author at the moment. Something I love about Colleen Hoover is that she really just knows how to grab your attention. Her stories are so crazy. The plot twist, how does she do it? I have no idea, but I love it. This tells the story of Tate Collins and Miles Archer. They start a no strings attached arrangement. It's basically a love story between the two of them and how they fall in love, but there's all these obstacles they have to face along the way. Miles does not want to be in love. He doesn't want a relationship. No strings attached. That never works. I always say it. It never works, guys. Never works. And obviously along the way, we see Miles forming an attachment to Tate. Obviously. Tate is like a medical student. I think she's like a nurse or something. And then Miles is an airplane pilot. He lives across the hall from Tate's brother where she is staying while she finishes up school. The way they meet is not the typical first way to meet in a love story. It's actually pretty weird. Tate is fairly annoyed with Miles, but they have this really deep connection between them, and it just keeps growing throughout the story. Obviously, because it's Colleen Hoover, there's a huge plot twist. We see why Miles doesn't want a relationship, why he doesn't want to be in love. But nonetheless, this is a great love story. I'm such a sucker for Colleen Hoover. You guys know it. You guys already know it. This was another 5-star read for me. Something else I'd like to know about Colleen Hoover and most of her books that I've read is that she likes to show the perspective from both characters always, and I absolutely love that. So in this book, the chapters go back and forth between Tate and Miles. Every other chapter is Tate, and then the other chapters are Miles, but 6 years before him and Tate's time. I love getting the perspective from both characters' point of view. It's just a really great read. I definitely recommend if you're looking for like a corny, sappy romance. The next book we read in the month of March is Verity by Colleen Hoover, of course, the queen. 2019. I read a lot of Colleen Hoover books this month, guys. So Verity is a mystery slash thriller Colleen Hoover book. I don't know if she usually writes these types of books. I don't think she does because most of the books I have of hers are like romances. This is my first ever mystery slash thriller read and it was spooky. I think it's a great transition book if you want to go into like the mystery genre. It was spooky, but it wasn't like the spookiest. This tells the story of Lowen Ashley, who is a writer. Basically what happens is Verity Crawford is a huge big time writer. She's unable to finish this famous book series of hers. Lowen is basically recruited to come and finish the book series for her, but while she's staying in Verity's home and like going through Verity's pieces of work, she finds things that are pretty shocking that obviously the rest of Verity's family doesn't know about, especially her husband Jeremy. Of course, along the way we have Lowen kind of falling in love with Jeremy, which is also a really weird concept for me because he's literally a married man. Lowen comes across something that Verity never intended anyone to come across. She starts unraveling Verity's life and her secrets, and it's just very shocking. It's very scary. This wasn't one of my 5-star reads just because it was my first mystery book and I'm not really in that type of genre yet. This was just an experiment to see how I would do with it. It was really good. I thought the story was interesting and I wanted to keep reading to see what happened and like what Verity was really all about. But at the same time, I didn't really like the romance aspect of it. I thought it was kind of weird. But like I said, it's a good transition if you want to go into like mystery slash thriller reads. If you have read this book, are you team manuscript or are you team letter? The next 2 books I read in the month of March that were actually a part of a reading viral TikTok books video was November 9th by Colleen Hoover, of course, and People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I'll start with this one because it's super easy. I loved it. It was beautiful. The romance, the mystery, the scandal. Oh my gosh. Wow. Another cute, sappy read. It tells the story of Fallon and Ben. Basically, Fallon meets Ben on her last day in town before she literally moves across the country to live in New York. Her and Ben form this really weird connection and they basically agree to meet on the same date every year for like the next 5 or 6 years while Ben tries to write his book. Obviously, there's a crazy plot twist. Not what I thought. I always think I know and then I don't know. But something else that's really cool about this is that it is in the same universe as Ugly Love. So if you do plan on reading these books, I would recommend reading Ugly Love first and then reading this just because you do see some characters pop up in November 9th and it's really cool to see that. Such a sucker for corny romances. And then the next one was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This was... It wasn't my favorite. I found it quite boring and it was a very slow read and slow build up. A lot of people say otherwise. A lot of people do enjoy the slow read, but I think because I'm so used to reading Colleen Hoover and she really just jumps into the craziness, I think I just wasn't prepared for a slower read like this. This tells the story of Poppy and Alex. They're 2 best friends who take vacations together all the time. During one vacation, they do something that completely changes everything. Then they stop talking and then they decide years later to try again, go on a vacation, be friends again. We go on every vacation with them that leads up to the moment that like changed everything for them. It's an interesting read. It just wasn't my favorite read. I think it could have been a little bit better considering it was a best friends to lover trope, all about all the vacations they went on and like traveling around the world together. I just thought it would be better and it wasn't. So People We Meet on Vacation was not a huge hit for me. That's okay because the book I read after makes up for everything, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. Guys, this book, favorite romance books ever. I just thought it was so cute. This is a fake dating trope between Olive Smith and Adam Carlson. Olive is a PhD candidate. Adam Carlson is actually a professor at her school. Basically what happens is Olive is trying to convince her friend Anne that she is in love and it's fine and Anne can go off and date this other guy and Olive doesn't care. By doing so, Olive finds herself in a fake dating relationship with Adam Carlson, a random professor that she kisses to prove her point to Anne. And we basically watch as Olive and Adam develop like this weird, crazy relationship throughout the story. And there's obviously like this weird tension between the 2 of them. They have this weird connection. It's just really sweet, the whole story. Super cute read. I love the relationship development. And Adam Carlson, guys, he's probably one of my all-time favorite book boyfriends. So perfect, so cute, we love him. Also, I've read a lot of things that this is basically like a Star Wars fanfic and it's kind of based off of Adam Driver. There are like Star Wars references in here, so I don't know. Let me know down below if you've read this. Is it a Star Wars fanfic? Because I don't know. I really can't decide. This book is great, it's beautiful. This is one of my 5-star reads. The next book we read is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is another mystery slash thriller read. It was my second one ever. I did really enjoy this more than Verity by Colleen Hoover, just because the mystery and like the thriller aspect was a little bit stronger and deeper. I thought the mystery of this book was wild, and basically this high school student Pippa is trying to uncover the truth behind a murder that happened in her school a few years previously. She's trying to figure out the truth between the Andy Bell and Sal Singh murder. Pippa doesn't believe it, and she basically recruits Sal Singh's younger brother Ravi to basically uncover the truth behind the entire mystery. It is quite crazy. It is spooky. It definitely had me on my toes the entire time. Along Pippa's journey, there's someone who's trying to prevent her from finding out the truth. They're sending her notes. I did really enjoy this. This is book 1 out of a 3-book series. I'll definitely be getting the next 2 books because I'd like to continue on and see what happens after this. I can definitely see the hype behind this. If you want to transition into mystery and thriller books, this is a great transition book. Following that, of course, I had to read a romance, and of course, I picked a Colleen Hoover book, and it's none other than Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This was a way different vibe from other Colleen Hoover books I had read. This focused more on a mother-daughter relationship. Basically, this mother, Kenna, she just gets out of prison. She returns home to where her daughter is residing, who is only about 4 or 5, and she basically wants to be in her daughter's life, be a mother, and there's just people around her and in town that are preventing her from doing so and don't want her to do that. So this basically tells the story of Kenna trying to be in her daughter's life while also finding love along the way. She meets Ledger, who is a bar owner in town, in closer connection to her than she realizes. We watch Kenna struggle to be in her daughter's life, be a mother, as well as come to terms with her past, what happened, the tragedy. Also, we watch Ledger kind of battle his inner demons and inner thoughts about what's right, what's wrong, who should he side with, and who does he trust. It's kind of like this weird battle we see throughout the story. Every other chapter is Kenna, while the other chapters are Ledger. Both characters' stories are in current time, and so it's cool because we see their perspectives at the same time. This is another one of my 5-star reads. I just thought it was so different from other Colleen Hoover books. I really enjoyed it. I loved the mother-daughter aspect. Next book that I read is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This is book 1 out of a 3-book series, and this basically tells the story of Lena. She goes to Italy to get to know her father better while also falling in love with Italian culture and basically just trying new things. She's also trying to uncover the mystery behind her mother's journal that she left behind. It's one of those reads that makes you feel like you're in it. Like I felt like I was exploring Italy myself. I was going to Rome and Florence, and it was beautiful. I thought the mystery aspect behind it was really interesting between Lena's mother and her father. Overall, I just thought it was a really cute and sweet read. The only thing I didn't really enjoy about it was how slow it was. Like I would read a few chapters and nothing major had happened, and I've just found myself getting bored with it, honestly. I also think that there's gaps in the story that definitely could have been filled up. If you want like a cute European vibe and summer romance, I think this is really cute. The last book I read in the month of March is none other than The Viscount Who Loved Me from the Bridgerton series. I feel like everyone knows what Bridgerton is. This tells the story of Anthony Bridgerton. He is basically looking for a bride, finally, after years and years of his mother pushing for him to get married. I love that it's an enemies to lovers trope. Him and Kate are so beautiful together. I loved it. I love their romance. I liked their story more in the show. I thought in the book that Anthony was a total ass most of the time, and in the show I totally adored him. So I think reading this book I saw a lot of season 1 Anthony in here, and I didn't like season 1 Anthony. I preferred season 2. Although I think he was a rake in season 2, he was a worse one in season 1. I also thought that Kate's character in the book was just kind of disappointing. I preferred her character in the show just because I felt like she was more like woman empowerment vibes. I feel like I just preferred their love story and storyline in the show way more than this, and I was kind of disappointed reading this. Basically, Anthony's looking for a wife, and he decides to court the diamond of the season, who is Kate's younger sister Edwina, but Anthony has to get Kate's blessing to propose to Edwina. She thinks he's a rake and he wouldn't make a good husband for Edwina, and throughout the story we just kind of watch them fall into each other, and they hate each other so much, but they also like love each other because they're the same person in a way. It's cute. It's cute to see Anthony's character change throughout the story, but I just personally prefer the show more. So okay guys, that's all for my March wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some books that maybe you want to read. If you've read any of these books, let me know down below what you think, what your opinions are. If you like some, if you didn't like some, don't forget to leave me any book recs down below that you may have for me. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it really lets me know that you like these types of videos, you like my book content, and you'd like to see more book reviews and reading vlogs on my channel. And then of course, don't forget to subscribe down below if you'd like to see more of me. I post weekly, guys. guys, I post weekly. It's basically free entertainment every single week. You might as well subscribe. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.